If you're looking for a 3-bedroom property here in Ocean City and you don't have $1 million to spend on your second home, I'm going to bring you an option today and walk you through exactly why 420 West Avenue is hands down the best budget option on the market. Full disclosure here, I am the listing agent on this property, so I may be a little bit biased, but at the same time, I've kept a very close eye, obviously, for my clients on potential competition that's hit the market. And to be completely frank with you, there's nothing else out there that compares, and there hasn't been anything that has hit in the last month and a half that would change my mind. So let's dive right in and let's check this out. So this is actually a townhouse. It's not your standard top bottom duplex. And for a lot of people, this is actually preferred. You don't have to worry about noise, kids, dogs, whatever it might be coming overhead. So this is a side-by-side townhouse. This is right in the heart of town. This is literally blocks away from downtown Asbury, just 3 blocks away from the bayside attractions like the Aqua Park, the Pirate Ship, Dockside Kitchen, the list goes on. It is definitely still walkable to the beach. It is walkable to anywhere, including the grocery store, just 5 blocks away. So this really is a very solid central location. And that, above all, is my top reason for why this is a perfect property. Whether this is your first time owning here in Ocean City, whether you're looking for a year-round property in Ocean City, and heck, this would honestly make for a great investment to place a year-round tenant. The amount of storage that's in here with the attic and everything that comes with it really makes this a multi-use property. So this is the left side, I should say, of the property that is for sale, not the one with the blue door. So again, it's located on a great street. It's very, very well done inside. In terms of updates, again, you can click through a lot of these pictures yourself, but it is ready to go. It's crown molding. There are granite countertops. The roof, the siding were done in 2007 or 2008, right on that barrier in December and January. New plumbing, new electrical, the list goes on. That's all in the description. But I want to talk you through exactly why this makes the list versus the other few 3-bedroom properties that are priced exactly the same at $499,900. So against the competition, in terms of flooding, that's one of people's primary concerns who have come through here or who have considered placing an offer. So what I wanted to do is talk you through why, in my opinion, I cannot say that that is not an issue. I did not live here, so I don't have firsthand experience. But after speaking with and seeing the commentary of a couple people who do live on that street right here in our local Facebook groups with a potential buyer asking about this, I wanted to pull up some science. This is what I use for every property and every buyer that I look for flooding concerns on. So this is a map provided by Acme County. There is a link down in the description of this video to take you through a walkthrough of how you can use this for yourself. You don't have to rely on me to do it. Anybody can do it. Now, what you see here, obviously, is 420 West Avenue. This is the property that we're talking about. When you see purple, this is a depiction of what flooding is likely to be like, strictly based on land elevation. This does not take into concern or into consideration wind direction. This does not take into consideration anything that's going to come up through these street grates, which causes, this might be news to you, heavier flooding typically on the corners of streets versus towards the middle. So what I wanted to walk you through here is exactly, number one, what it's going to look like and at what point I think there is a reasonable concern from a flooding standpoint. So we're going to go through these gauge readings. I won't go deep into the rabbit hole of what all these mean on the mean low water scale, but let's just see when the purple starts to get concerning. Obviously, you see some purple here up front. Again, the property is lined up right here with this gray dot. So would there be water in the streets with a 5.3 minor flooding? Certainly. How often does this happen? This happens 1 to 2 handfuls of times max, really, per year. And primarily that's going to be in the off season. So you don't have to worry about any of that. The worst thing that you could have to do when there is something like this, if you are down, is maybe move your car 1 block up to Asbury Avenue. Now, the biggest concern, obviously, again, if you're going to be using this in the summertime, floods typically do not happen. And when I say typically, I wish I could say never, because it's extremely rare, but that would be disingenuous. So let's see when it really starts to get concerning, right? We see the water starting to fill up, again, primarily at the corners, a little bit maybe creeping up onto the sidewalks, but again, still not terrible. Your car should not be there for this. Now, when it starts to get, I'll say, worrisome, right? It will be creeping up the back from the alley, potentially into the rear driveway there. We're talking a 6.3, what we consider moderate flooding. Now, if we go back, right, and look at all of our recent crests, so this is going to go back substantially, right? The most recent 19 heavy floods. How often do we see a 6.3, right? In 2021, once. In 2020, once. In 2019, once. In 2018, a little bit of a peak there with 3. But as you can see, we're not talking more than usually between 1 and 3 times in a given year where you would want to make sure that, again, your car is substantially moved. This is not even close to getting into the house. So from a flooding standpoint, again, there's a lot of anecdotes out there. People say it's a bad area for flooding, whether you're talking about this location or others. What does bad really mean? Right? Everybody has their own perception of what that means. I like to go with data driven, specifically with these visuals, so you can see exactly what we're talking about here. So again, from a flooding standpoint, it's not raised. It's not above a garage like some of the newer duplexes are, but it's also not the end of the world. You don't have to worry about water coming into your house once a year or anything even close to that. So to me, this is about middle of the pack in terms of best case scenario where you don't have to worry about flooding, or a very flood prone area like where I live in Marriott Park, depending on the location, where you really have to be hyper conscious of every change in the weather, every storm that's coming. This does not fit that bill. So of all the potential negatives about this or any property, again, flooding is a very big one for people who are considering buying here. And that would be the biggest con. But as hopefully you listened to and really heard my message here, it is really not much of a concern. There are substantially worse places on the island when it comes to flood risk. This is about middle of the pack. So if that's what's been holding you back, or if you've been thinking about this, again, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk you through this again personally if you have specific questions. But otherwise, again, I recommend that you toy around with this map for whatever property you're considering and use this as one of your criteria that you just take a look at, make sure that you're comfortable with what this map is going to look like. So let's get back to the property itself. Now, again, this is a top and bottom townhouse style duplex. The entire first floor is a lovely eat-in kitchen on the other side of this spacious living room. And it's very, very well put together as well. Again, you can see here, it is very clean. It is ready to go. And you can't say that about, again, any other property that is in this ballpark where you're getting 3 bedrooms. And 3 bedrooms for a lot of people is the absolute minimum that will work for you and your family. You don't want to be squeezing 10 people into a 2-bedroom unit. So again, this property is in immaculate shape. It is ready to go. And it is the best buy, in my opinion, on the island at the moment, as of the recording of this video on the 30th of January. So if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. I am hyper familiar with this property as I am the listing agent here. So my number is 609-602-2847. You can call or text if you're more comfortable with email or Facebook Messenger. Totally fine. My email is down in the description as well. I appreciate you checking this video out. I will be releasing 1 per week, potentially up to 2 if these are going well and if we get more dang inventory. So stick around. Make sure you hit subscribe down below so that you don't miss a thing. Thanks a lot. See you on the next one.